that summarizes your credit history. That summarizes your credit history, right? It ensures the person who wants to lend you money to figure out whether you are a good borrower, if you're a good person, if you know how to, if you're somebody who has lended money before but didn't pay in time, or if you paid in time, how long did it take you to pay? So all that history that you have is going to ensure, it's going to give you a score, and that score is going to make sure, to help you, to rate you on a level of risk, high risk or low risk, to which your next lender will know whether to lend to you or not to lend to you. Of course. So I said it's usually a 3-digit number between 0 and 999, right? And if you're on the lower CADA, it means that your credit score is low, right? Meaning that you're a higher risk individual, or a higher risk startup, or a higher risk fintech, right? And if you're on the higher CADA, let's say your score is high, it means that you're a lower risk and you're more likely to get the funding that you deserve. So what is the point of the credit scoring system, right? It's to help lenders to choose and pick, because there are limited lenders to the amount of people who want to borrow money, right? So to help these limited lenders to choose and pick which organizations or which businesses are less risk for them, right? So that they can lend to people who are more likely to pay them their money back, right? So I hope with these few words of mine, I've been able to convince you just a little bit about this topic that we're going into today, right? So we're talking about credit scoring, credit worthiness, and how you can get the money for your business. If this is something that is interesting to you, then you definitely want to stay. You want to call other people into the room and make sure that you're calling people that are interested in this information. Right. So we're going to go right into the matter. I don't like wasting time at all. But before we, start the discussions about credit scores and, the regulatory stuff, right, we're going to go and go on to our next speaker. He's going to just introduce us to you. His name is Mr. Dennis Izaga. He's the head of business banking, FSDH Merchant Bank. He'll just be giving the welcome address. Please, let's give a round of applause in the chat section. Let's give a round of applause in the chat section to welcome Mr. Dennis Izaga. Is he in the room? Yes, he is. All right. Can we get a spotlight on him? Okay, welcome, Mr. Dennis. You are muted. You are muted.
Okay, I'm unmuted now.
All right, welcome.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
How are you doing? Good afternoon, everyone. Thanks, Ore. In fact, with Ore's introduction, I don't think there's anything left for me to say. But we welcome you all, and we trust it to be an engaging session. We're in partnership with CLC Credit Bureau, as you have heard. And what we have done is put together a rich panel to be able to, one, explain to you what the credit risk process involves, and also to take your questions and give answers. But what I would say in addition is, especially for the tech-enabled community, where you have mostly startups, or when we say startups, everybody thinks it's tech-enabled. So let's just say the startup businesses. Doing an equity fundraise is different from doing a debt fundraise, which is what you would be doing when you come to us to borrow. The principles, the processes are different completely. So this is looking at the kind of process you should expect when you're doing debt fundraise. So it's great to have you here. I've seen a lot of people giving me greetings. It's great to see everyone here, and we trust you would have a very engaging discussion. Sorry, I must add this. This is part of FSDH's commitment to non-financial services intervention. Financial services is what we do. That's our bread and butter. We intermediate, but on the non-financial services side, we want to be able to help you build capacity, help you with the things you do not know, so that you are better prepared when you come to us to borrow. And having said that, I will mute my mic now and yield the stage to the experts. So thank you very much and have a lovely session. All right.
All right, thank you so much for that. Thank you that it was very short and sharp. Don't you like the way we are all very short and sharp? Thank you so much for that. Okay, so our commitment to non-financial services to ensure that you have the right information to make sure that you're making the right decisions as a business owner. Right, so we're going to go straight into the meat of the matter. You can see how fast the information is coming at you. If you need to get a pen and a paper, now is the time. Get it? Let us learn together. We're going to be having a panel discussion. I'm going to have it with the professionals. We're going to be asking them the hard-hitting questions. These questions are not only going to be coming from me. If you have any questions, please, now is the time to also write them in the box. If you have any questions that have been running in your mind about getting funding for a very long time, this is the time to ask it. If while we are also speaking, a question comes to mind, definitely put it in the chat box as well. We want those questions. We want those questions directly from you. Okay, so I'm going to be introducing the members of our panel. The person shooting this, please make sure to spotlight as I call on each member of this panel session. So we're going to be starting with the first person in the picture. She's a lady, gender equality and all, right? Her name is Ife Dolapo Lawal, right? She is the co-founder of Oyster Finance, where they pioneer financial solutions for micro loan operators and institutions in emerging markets with the aim of making credit accessible and affordable. She's very committed to transforming lives and fostering financial independence for underbanked Africans. Please make welcome Ife Dolapo Lawal to the stage. Please spotlight Ife Dolapo Lawal. She's going to be part of our panel session. Please, in the chat box, you can also just put your hands together. You can put your hands together for Ife Dolapo Lawal. All right. I'll be moving on to the next person on my screen, and that will be Ayodeji Aluko. Right. He's a seasoned business development expert with nearly 2 decades of experience. He has, wait, give a moment for 2 decades of experience, right? He has served as CRC Credit Bureau's team lead for new business conversations and regional sales relationship management, right? So for Abuja and the North, right? So driving strategic expansion and fostering business opportunities. Please let us make welcome as well to the speaking table, Ayodeji Aluko. Right. Okay. We'll be moving on to the next person on your screen. His name is Isaiah Yede, right? He is the CRC Bureau's head of automations, where he spearheads product innovation, leveraging his cloud proficiency with over a decade's expertise. He's oversees software engineering, business intelligence, and data analytics, prioritizing customer-centric solutions. Please let's make welcome Isaiah Iyede to the stage. I see him. He's right there with his headphones. Awesome. Okay, and finally, last but not the least, I'll be welcoming to the stage Itanife Adegboye, right? She is FSD's credit risk manager. She boasts over 16 years of monitoring a diverse credit portfolio worth 40 billion naira, or you would say $123 million, right? We're talking the money, right? And she's spanning various sectors, notably technology. She prioritizes adherence, identifying red flags, and conducts thorough financial analysis to guide transactions. Please let us make welcome Itanife Adegboye to the stage as well. Awesome. All right. So do we have everyone? Okay. I love it. All the smiles, Isaiah. Okay. You want to come back on video? Okay. Welcome everyone. Welcome everyone. So. I hope you're happy to be here. Just say hi to the audience. Let them know that you're happy to give them the information that they need. You can just unmute and say hi.
Hello, everyone.
Just say hi. I will go right into the first.
Hi, everyone.
Okay.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Welcome. Welcome. Okay. Okay. I'm sorry. Give me a moment, please. Okay. It seems Ifedolak has not joined yet. but we can continue. Until she joins us. Right. Awesome. Okay. Okay. So the first question I'm going to be asking, I think I kind of set a small, background as a layman, what is credit risk, or what is credit scoring and all that good stuff. Right. But I'm sure from the perspective of a professional, I'll be asking Ayodeji Aluko, right? First of all, give us a small background of what credit scoring is, right? Before you now go ahead and ask and answer the question, what types of funding, right, rely on credit ratings, and why is it even important for us to know about credit ratings, if you're a startup or if you're a business or a fintech? So did you get the question, IJG?
Okay, yeah, thank you so much. Thank you. I hope everyone can hear me. Thank you so much. So we kickstarting, yes, behind every success story of every entrepreneur is their desire to scale up, to start small, and end big at the end of the day. So it's very important that as we look at the story around scoring, so it being fantastic to be here today. So your credit scoring, for individual, it is not as scoring or score. While for an entity, it's called rating. Your credit rating is what perspective, your digital perspective. How do we look at you when it comes to risk assessment? What do you represent digitally? So is the same thing as your credit information report that you obtain, but it is a conversion of your credit information report into a digital form. So the form it ranges between 300 to 850. For us in CRC, our score is fashioned after FICO. So FICO is one of the biggest scoring agency in the world. It's an American-based scoring agency. So for us in CRC, we partner with an institution that will enable you to, whatever you're obtaining from us from Nigeria, anywhere you take it to, it is well acceptable. So the way they have done their own rating is from poor, we have average, and we have good, and we have excellent. So your score is just a digital representation of what your credit outlook look like. So it does not really mean is that's what your scores mean. So I think the second question relates to, so your score now, somebody needs to quickly make a decision about you. You have, okay, somebody, it's just a quick decision making point concerning you as an individual or as an entity. So that's all about scoring and rating. So it's to look at you very well, looking at how well you have done. As you are aware, your credit report, it looks in at your past, I mean, to determine how your future will be. So that's why it's essential as you are starting on the pedestal, as you yourself as an entity, or the people you are going to relate with. So it's good for you to start very well, and then so that you can have what is called easy access. It's not really easy because FSDH guys are here. It's not really easy. If you are very okay, it makes the work easier. So it's to make it neat. And then I think the second question, if I can, the second question relates to what type of credits, am I right? That's what kind of
what
facility
type
that
of
would be?
funding relies on credit rating? What type of
Yes.
funding relies on credit rating?
Okay,
That's the
mostly
question.
every funding rely on mostly every funding, because I just want to know how good you are as a lender. I want to see how good you are. That's my idea. I don't want to be at the dark. If you're asking for this document, you will have bring it to me, everything, but I still want to know you. Before I part with even if it is just 100 naira that I'm giving to you in terms of loan, I still want to know you. It's the same way if I'm dealing with you on a 1 billion scale, naira scale, I still want to know whom you are. Thank you.
Okay, and so why are these ratings now important for startups?
Yes, for a startup, for you will need to be, because you are just like a newborn baby. You don't really, nobody knows anything about you. It is only you yourself and maybe your investor, people that are, if you are fortunate enough to have investor, they
Have
will have done
investment.
1 or 2 background checks on you. So they are the only one that knows you. So for you as a startup, you must ensure it is important for you to have this score, to have this rating, so that at the end of the day, when people look at you outside your purview, they can see something that you have done. Okay, maybe I'm a startup that doesn't have anything. So it's important for you to start now and start building this. I mean, this core. It doesn't just occur to you. It's not just this core that just happened. So it's something that you start today, the beginning. Even before you start the business, I want to emphasize, before you even start the business, because here in Nigeria, in our climate, we look at your entity, we look at the people behind the entity. So it's very, very important. As you're starting now, you are starting well. So it's very, very important for you. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so we're just gonna, summarize a bit of things that you said. You said the number for, particularly for CRC, is between 300 and 850, correct?
Yes.
The score, so I would say the credit scoring rate that might be used in Nigeria, right?
Everywhere, yes, can be used in Nigeria.
Yes,
and
everywhere, but at least for
Everywhere.
Nigerians, right? That number, yes.
Yes.
Okay, so between 300 and yes, okay, the FICO scoring agency, like you said. Okay, so and then scoring ratings, just to clarify for people, right? Is a digital representation really of your credit history, correct? Okay, and then you said so of course for startups, why it is important is that they start well, right? To ensure that they have all they need to do to get better funding. And if they already have funding, to get even more funding. Right, correct. So this will lead me to my next question, right? Because startups are looking for money, right? And this question will be going to Itanife. So as a lender, thinking about it, because the credit bureau said, okay, you need to start well, these are all the good stuff, these are the good dreams that you need to have, right? But if you start well, right, what is the lender looking at? So how can startups leverage partnerships, right, with financial institutions and credit bureaus to improve their access to credit and to enhance their ratings? So, I mean, if you're a startup and you have nothing, you have no idea about ratings and stuff like that, what can you do really to improve, to partner with these people and then to improve your rating? So we're going to answer it from the credit point of view. We're going to answer it from the lending point of view. So Itanife, go ahead.
Okay, thank you very much.
Yeah.
Okay, thanks. Am I audible? Okay.
Yes, you are.
Very much. All right. So yes, if you're a startup, like Ayode just said, they're just starting a business, there's no history of performance. So it will be good for you to leave financial institutions in terms of advisory. So the financial institutions can advise you on how to govern and how to structure the business. So you find a situation where you're a startup, you don't even know how to structure your business, you don't know the kind of auditors to use. Some people come to the banks, they don't know the kind of facilities that they need, or they think they need a particular one, meanwhile they need another kind of facility. So it's important that they leverage with the banks, the financial institutions, in terms of advisory services. It might not be the bank that will give that, but they can introduce them to people, that will help them put their company that they're just starting in proper structure.
Okay, I hear you. All right. Okay, so you say that you definitely need these partnerships for advisory. They need to know exactly what they are going to be investing with. So let's talk about it from the credit point of view. Isaiah, please go ahead and explain to us if a startup was to partner with you to say, help me to understand my credits, help me to understand my rating so that I can get funding, what will you be telling them?
Okay, so first of all, as a startup, you are not the one being rated, right? So let me clarify. So ratings are really for the end users, not for the startups. From the startup point of view, you want to leverage on partnership with credit bureau to know who you are going to lend to. It's a risky business, really, lending, and FSDH would understand that more, because we have a lot of people who don't have this good behavior. They don't They're not in the character of borrowing and paying back. So as a startup, you want to know who you are going to lend to, all right? You don't want to lend to anybody who's nobody. You want to know their credit behavior. So you need this partnership with the bureau so that you can know who you are lending to. The bureau will give you that power by means of information to know, okay, these are the people that I can lend to. These people have good credit ratings. These people have good character. Their history is okay, and I can actually lend to them. So you are protecting yourself. If you don't have that partnership and you're lending to anybody who's nobody, you might end up running into debts. All right. So it's very important that as a startup, before you ever start lending, you must leverage the partnership of the bureaus because they will give you the information you need to lend to the right people.
Okay. I don't know if anybody has gotten new information here. So you're not the one being rated as a startup, right? It is the credit bureau that you partner with, correct? Right? Is that what you're saying, Isaiah?
Yes, the credit as a
Okay.
startup, you want to do your lending, you want to borrow and get interest and make money. That's what you want to do as a startup. So
Right.
you want to you're going to lend to, and that's what the bureaus will help you do.
Okay, awesome. So on this topic, right, we are in these times together, right? We understand how tough that this space has been, in terms of getting funding for your business and all that good stuff, right? So what are the factors? I'm sorry, so give me a moment. Okay. Okay, so Ifedolapo, I see that you've joined us. Welcome. Okay, so you will be talking from the founder's point of view, right? The credit bureau has spoken, the lender has spoken. What, from your point of view, as a founder, how has regulations and credit ratings impacted your fundraising efforts, right? Particularly when seeking investment from a venture capitalist or an angel investor. Let's start with, you have sought investment from a venture capitalist, correct?
Yes.
You have.
Yes, I
Okay,
have.
so what do you
Yes.
think that this credit rating, how has it impacted your fundraising efforts in general?
So we've sorted for funding from VCs, mostly international VCs.
Okay.
They do their due diligence on startups, but it's not necessarily linked directly to your financial transactions, your personal financial transactions, because I personally could have a very good financial transaction, but the business I'm trying to start might not be very like a good business. So it's independent of my credit ratings. Basically, when you're raising money, is independent of your credit rating. Now that's equity raise. That's different from debt raise. If I was raising debt, now that would be in direct proportion with my credit rating and my co-founder's credit rating. Now they'll take that into account because they need to see my historic performance, and the credit score just shows like who you are. It gives them an idea of how does this girl spend, does she repay back her debt in time and things like that. So if I was raising debt equity, then that's a different case. But I've only so far till date raised what's it called, equity to cash. So my credit ratings didn't really come into play.
Okay. So if you are not yet raising debt, right? Your credit ratings don't come into play as a startup. Is that what you're saying? Okay,
Yes.
awesome. All right. Okay, so let's move further into the discussion. And I'm going to be asking this question to Itanife, right? So of course, things are hard, right? A bit right now in Nigeria. And of course, we're seeing a lot of regulations to kind of steady up the economy. And one of these regulations is the regulation by CBN on interest rates and access to credits, right? How do you think it would impact the way businesses are able to access funding?
Okay, thank you very much, Ore. To be honest, I must say that it's a very difficult and challenging times for businesses. So, and I would explain what I mean by that. So the MPR, which is the monetary policy rate, I'll just explain what it is. It's the interest rate at which the central bank lends money to commercial banks. So over the couple of months, it's been increased from 18.75 to 24.75, meaning interest rate has also had to increase. Now, typically, banks are not really, banks are a bit weary of giving credits or funds to startups. Reasons is part of what we've discussed. I already just discussed. They don't have an history of performance. Their profiling is also. I mean, sometimes the startups they even die before 5 years. So banks are often weary. Now, because of this perceived risk, I won't even say perceived, because of this enhanced risk, banks would always put a buffer on the interest rate that is already high, if they're going to give credits to startups, which also puts pressure on the startups to meet their obligations, which might also increase the risk of default. So because when the interest is already high, because it's a startup and you don't have an history of performance, they probably don't have financial statements, even if they have, maybe with auditors that are not validated, and all that kind of. So the bank has to, put this cost in the interest rates that they're going to give them. And that also puts pressure on the startups. It's also worried to say that some banks don't even lend to startups because of, some of these issues. But aside the startups, even the corporates or the bank or the businesses that have been in existence or are even structured, it's also a difficult time because the level of inflation, the purchasing power of most Nigerians have also, dropped, which is also affecting most businesses. I'm sure you see that most businesses, their profits have lowered or have deepened over the years. Then even the cash flows as well. And it's from these cash flows that are expected to pay, the loans back. So, they are also not having a good time. They're also not having a good time. Also, the central bank released a circular that Naira loans that Naira loans can no longer be backed with FCY. So for the fintechs who typically back their loans with FCY collateral, they've had to, convert to Naira or use the securities as advised by the CBN, which is FGN Eurobonds or foreign guarantees or SBLC. So, the terrain is really challenging, at this point in time because of the regulations and circulars that we have from the central bank. Thank you.
Thank you so much. That was very informative. We started with one regulation. We heard like about 4 regulations that are involved in, credit rating and getting money or getting money for the funding for your business. Right. So, from this perspective now, we have seen all the troubles that may be going for a startup or a fintech. What is the solution? How can we solve this problem? So I'm going to be asking from, the credit point of view. Let's say a startup, and this question is for Isaiah, right? Let's say a startup wishes to get access to credit data to make better lending decisions. How can they do it, right? And what secure data, right? Are there any security measures to put in place to protect the startups from identity breach and stuff like that? So just give us the 411. How can this startup get access to credit data? Go ahead, Isaiah.
Okay, so thank you. It's pretty straightforward. CRC is a CRC Credit Bureau. We operate on a membership kind of setup. If you want to start accessing data, to make wise or to make intelligent credit decisions, you can join CRC. There's a process that you follow and become a member. So once you become a member of CRC Credit Bureau, you can then start accessing data, to make informed or better lending decisions. So really, the major thing is security. Security is one of the founding blocks of credit bureaus, CRC credit bureau for that matter. We are very big on security. In fact, before you join CRC credit bureau, we have some documentation that you have to fill in, and one of them is a DSA, data security agreement. Now, in that security agreement, there are rules and requirements that the startup has to meet before we can start giving them access to this credit data. And the other question will now be, how do we even get the credit data that we give to the startup? So we have two major ways that we collect data from these data providers. That's other institutions that are already giving us data. We have a secure portal. It creates the users of these several institutions can access that portal and send us, upload these data files securely. We get that information and process it. We also have an API. Really, and that's one of the things about CRC. We're also forward thinking. The whole idea of the API is to automate the whole ecosystem of credits from taking loans and giving data. So we have an API that the startups can take advantage of, and to either get data or to send data securely, as a matter of fact. On top of that, we have quarterly vulnerability assessment tests we do as a credit bureau. These vulnerability assessment tests is to make sure that our system is protected. The data that we are collecting from our data providers is secure, is not breached or hacked, one way or the other. So we are very big on security. So anybody that is coming to join CRC as a member, you have joined, you don't have access to that data. We give you, we require some things from you that you have to fill in, and we make sure your data is well protected. And really that's about what we do on security and membership here.
Okay, thank you very much for that very informative answer. I'm going to start taking questions from the chat box. I see that people are very excited and they have lots of questions. So there's a question from the chat box that says, what are the procedures for startups like us? So I guess Intanife would have to take this question to collaborate and partner with financial institutions like FSDH to access loans and funding. Did you get the question? What are the procedures for startups like us to collaborate and partner with financial institutions like FSDH to access loans and funding? Okay.
Okay, so when you say startups like us, so how many years? So 1 year. So the startup is how many years before we can?
Okay, you can tell us in the chat box if it was you who said the question. How many years? But I think we should just assume for the person, maybe if you say it's a startup, maybe the first 5 years.
Okay, good. So if the company is like maybe 5 years, so would expect that you have like at least 3 years financial statements or audited financial accounts.
Okay.
Yeah, so we would analyze that. Now, when we are doing our credit analysis, before we know or before we decide whether you are credit worthy, we would like you said, there's a scoring, which incorporates the qualitative and quantitative bits. Now, the quantitative bits is the area of the financials where we look at your financial accounts, your revenue, your gross profits, and all of that, your cash flow. You want to be sure that, your cash flow can actually pay back the loan that you have taken. For us, security is secondary. You want to be sure that the business, can take. So if you are running the business in a way that is not structured, like a startup, we would advise you on the things that you need to do. We've had reasons to advise some of our customers to move from maybe like tier 3 or tier 4 auditors to maybe tier 2. You understand? So that we are sure of the accuracy and the reliability of the financial accounts. Do you understand me? Yeah. So
yes.
Advise you to do that, and put a proper structure to your business. Also, we'll advise you on the kind of facility that you need, as it were. Yeah.
Okay. I love that answer. Lots of information there. I'm talking about 3 years. For the existing, talking about cash flow structures and even business advisory that will come in based on the situation of your business. So really, it's just a bit subjective. So if you would like more information on that, definitely you want to contact us directly. Now, I have a question in the chat box, and this is for someone at CRC. We'll see whether maybe Mr. Aluko Ayodeji can answer this question for us. And it says, can NGOs supporting entrepreneurship also be onboarded with CRC? Right.
Okay, thank you so much. Yes,
Yeah.
you know, for us in CRC, we have something that we say, anywhere that is buy today and pay tomorrow, anywhere you are letting go a sort of credit from your hand to another, and you are you are a registered entity, because we are also regulated by the laws of Nigeria. We are regulated by Central Bank of Nigeria and also by the Act of the Parliament. That's the Credit Reporting Act 2017. So all these guide our businesses in Nigeria. We are highly regulated institution. So for you as an NGO that is supporting entrepreneur, I'm sure you are releasing a sort of finances to them as well in you supporting them, asking them to go. Your aim as an NGO either is a grant or is a form of maybe very, very, very rock bottom sort of. Knowing them, knowing their credit, what have they done in the past that can guarantee what they are going to do, what they're going to do with you now. How well can you measure it? So it's important for you as an NGO supporting to also register with the Bureau. There are processes for you to register with the Bureau. One of the processes that you must be a recognized entity. Being a recognizing means is you must be registered with at least Corporate Affairs Commission in Nigeria. That means I must know where you are. I must have a location attached to you. I must know who are the faces behind whatsoever you are doing. With that, it is essential. So with that, we'll be able to give you access to every data, like my colleague Isaiah have mentioned, every data that has been given to us by all the lenders across Nigeria. They are entrusting it to us. So it is essential, which they are protected. So we don't just open it. So you can't just go to the credit. You can't just go to the cyber cafe and just log in, CRC Credit Bureau, and said, I want to check. It's not done anywhere. You can't have such asset. You can never find it. It's not possible. It's not possible. You can't see it rolling on everywhere. So it's a secure site that you must get that information. So it's essential for you as an entrepreneur supporting NGO. NGO supporting
entrepreneurs.
Yes, to be part of the credit bureau. It's going to be a fantastic experience for you because it will enable you to know these people more better. Thank you.
Okay. So, but if that NGO was not supporting, so if a non-profit that is not particularly lending to entrepreneurs, is the credit bureau relevant to them at all?
Yes, credit bureau is relevant to us because part of what we do is not just, I'm sure it's unfair we have a lot of being here for a while. It's unfair we have a lot of such kind of experience. So I want to know, I'm not just, people might think, it's not just enough having a credit report. Also, there are some things I'm also looking at in your report. I want to know you, know your customer. So people you are, even if you are not supporting an entrepreneur, as an NGO, you are dealing with people. You are alleviating one societal issue or the other. Maybe you are supporting people in the slum. You are bringing them up. So these people, to do your KYC. So somebody had told you, because every success of any form of enterprise start from data now. That one has already been established. The kind of information you have from this person enable you to make a critical decision about them, either for credit or for engagement. So Ayodeji has told me that he lives in Ilupeju. He lives in number 20 additional Crescent in Ilupeju in Lagos. That's where he lives. But Ayodeji now, when I conducted a search on Ayodeji, I discovered that there's another address called number 10 Ikorodu Road. You understand? So I want to know, I can as well go there, send my emissaries there to go and ask questions as an NGO about Ayodeji. Do you know Ayodeji? Okay, we know Ayodeji. Ayodeji grew up among us there. Oh, he's one of those. So I want information. What we are doing in the Credit Bureau, CRC, is to give you information So as an entrepreneur, you are also part of, you can benefit from that information that is available. So far you meet up, you are able to, there are permissible purposes that this can be used for. So you must meet up those permissible purposes. But it's a fantastic work if an NGO or any other lenders out there who are listening to us can be part of this. Thank you.
Okay, awesome. So it is very important for you to, join and, be in collaboration with the credit bureau, whether you are an NGO who is even lending to entrepreneurs or not, right? If it can be for credibility, it can be for being known, it can also be for information purposes, right? It's just important to be part of the community. Awesome. So we got that. I'm gonna ask you a question to Ife Jolapo. I don't want her to, we've not forgotten her. She's here with us, right? And after I do, we're gonna go back into the chat box. We have a bunch of questions there for some other people. Right. So Ifedolapo, we have a question for you. And it says, what tips will you have for startups to remain profitable, even with all this stuff, right? So you have the information, you've gone to venture capitalists before, you've tried to raise funding. Have you ever been successful at raising funding, Ife?
Yes. Yes, I have.
Yes, you have. Exactly. So people want to know, right? How long has your business existed?
Since 2022.
2022. So that's about 2 to 3. Exactly. So in fact, it mixes up with the question that somebody just asked, which was, I was going to go back to Intanife, which is if you're under 3 years of business, right? Can you get lending? Right. So, but Ife Dolapo will answer the question first, right? So you've gotten funding before. How were you able to do this? Vis-a-vis all this conversation that we're having, right? About creditworthiness and all that. Go ahead.
Yeah, I think again, getting funding from VC is very different from debt financing. Getting funding from VC has a lot to do about your product and your team and the market size. And if the investors will be able to get their money back with your business model. So if you're selling a dress, how many dresses can you make? How many dresses can you sell to give me times 10 of the money I'm investing in you? Just to simplify it. So investors are looking for businesses that have a scalable business model that will give them back times 10 of their money. So it's independent again of your credit rating or your creditworthiness, and that's different from debt. So if your business is a small business, I would assume you would need debt. You need access to credit to be able to raise capital, which is where you go to like banks like FSDH, and then you need your credit score, your credit rating to be positive. So that's totally different. That's like for small businesses in the country. But if you're scaling because you want to serve international businesses, you can't just rely on debt. You need VC funding. You need that type of capital that is not there's no interest on it. We don't have like this is the interest you pay me back. We just have like, is this business going to be able to make times 10 or times 100 of what we are putting it in future? So there's no in 10 years back, pay me this amount interest, or in 5 years time, pay me this amount interest. We do not have that when it comes to like VC funding. So I think that's just the difference. So if you're doing a startup that you're scaling to other markets, you probably would need VC capital. But if you have a small business that you're growing in one location, in one country, then you need credit from banks like FSDH. So that's just the two differences.
Okay, and that makes absolute sense. I want to make sure that everybody else is also getting this, right? So there's the equity funding and there's debt funding. You're talking about startups that probably don't need credit ratings because they are coming from the perspective of their products, right? Well, how viable is your product? That's what a VC would invest in. That's what a venture capital will invest in, right? But then if we're talking about debt financing, which go for spaces like small businesses where you just need, your money right now, you need it to run day to day and all that good stuff, then you're talking about monies that you're going to get from a bank like FSDH, and stuff like that. Okay, awesome. So you have particularly dealt with VC, investment,
Yes.
not debt. Exactly. And you will get to debt, right? At some point. Right. It all happens for all of us. But yeah, I get you. So that's a perspective to look at, right? And of course, I'm sure that I did you still say you should still register with the credit bureau, even though you have gotten VC investment. Right. Okay. So looking at all this perspective, there was a question that was going this way. I was going to go for Itanife. I'm sorry, it was in the chat section. I have to go to the chat box. Okay. Yes. Okay. So yes, when the person was speaking about if you have a business that is less than 3 years, is it possible in any of the unicorn worlds for you to get financing? Is it possible for you to get
Sure.
an investment?
It's very possible. Yeah.
Okay. And so what type of situation?
So it depends on how the credit is structured. So
Okay.
for us in FSDH, so we have some credits that we call asset backed. So
Okay.
you can take the credits and back it up with securities, maybe like T-bills. We also have cash backed facilities as well. Possible if you don't have finance. Yes, then we also lend against domiciliation. So for us is more of the proceeds from the cash flow that we lend against. So if you're able to say that the money that is going to come in can pay the facility that you're about to take, even if you are not up to 3 years to have audited accounts. Yes, we can do that. Yes, so it's possible.
Okay. So if your business is less than 3 years, so the person that said, okay, you need startups that don't have up to 3 years financials. Yes. If your business is less than 3 years, if you have some asset backs, you have cash, you can back this your ask with some assets, right? Or the revenue that proceeds from your cash flow is enough, right? Then definitely we'll be also considering you. So I hope that answers your question very clearly. Okay, so I have somebody else here who is asking about the list for auditors that in tier 1, tier 2.
Okay, so for tier 1 auditors, we have the big 4. So we have PwC, KPMG, Deloitte, and EY. Yeah.
Okay.
So those are tier 1. Then we have tier 2, maybe like a Crown, Dafinoni. And so we have the list. Then for the tier,
right?
There are some auditors like, so you say Ife and Co. or Ife and Partner. So those kind of auditors won't come into tier 1 and tier 2. Probably
those
tier 3.
are tier 6. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. So don't go to Ife and Co. Try to go a bit higher. I'm pretty sure that if you Google it, you will find some tier 2 auditors, right? Just auditors with a good name, that we can definitely stand behind. It's awesome. Okay. So let me check through the chat box if we have any other questions before we start moving to the next section for today. Okay. Okay, what happens if a startup is into IT services procurement and needs to stock the office to enable clientele, right? So I think this is more about funding. What type of funding you will be asking for if you're trying to maybe get assets in your office? That's what this person is asking. I don't know if this is a question for us today, but okay, let's do that. Okay, is there any payment? So this person asking, is there any payment for being a member of CRC as an organization? Okay, Isaiah, do you want to go? Do you want to answer that?
Yeah, so there's a one-off membership fee. Once that is paid, you become a lifetime member of CRC. Yeah, so it's a pretty reasonable, pretty standard fee and not expensive. Our listeners should not think it's something outrageous. It's really pretty standard and also affordable. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so there's a fee. You can probably contact partners as well to ask details about this fee. Okay, I guess the person just keeps asking the same question. But we're going to probably end here for these chat questions. I think that's the last one. If you have any other questions, please also put them in the chat box before we end this session. This person is asking if his business is not asset backed, right? Doesn't have any asset backed collateral. Can he still get some money? Can he see the money? So I think she spoke about if
Future
your
cash flows. If your
yes,
cash
if you're putting
are
from the
large
cash
enough.
flow, yeah, if it's large enough, then definitely you can still get. So if it's a lucrative business, really, you can still get funding. So let me check if I have any other question, and then we'll be ending this session and moving on to the next step. Okay, so okay, this question is for IDG. Aluko, and the question will be, are there any products or services available to help startups make strategic decisions that would aid growth? Any products that CRC presently has?
Yes. Yeah, there are products that for the startup, because fantastic question. We've been talking about how you need to prepare yourself, how we need, yes, 3 years, 4 years, those things, they are not to harm us. Like if Fair has already mentioned too, is to enable the lender to have a good view of you. What about a product that will enable you to be looking at yourself every time? So you can as well go on our site, crccreditbureau.com, and request for a product called credit information report consumer as an individual, as a startup as well, to check upon what is even being reported about me. That's one product that everybody on this call needs to go and check out first. What are the things that are even being reported about me? That's one. Number two, you can also have a report called CRC, sorry, please, a report that will enable you to be checking on yourself. So whenever there is any changes on your credit information, you will be notified. That one, you'll be able to avoid fraud. If there's anyone using your identity or someone using your information to obtain a facility, you can easily identify that. So if anytime there are changes on your report, you'll be able to know what aspect, what aspect of my credit bureau is anyone having access to my report that I'm not aware about. So those are the type of report that are available that you can use both for the individual. Icon Plus is called CRC Icon Plus for individual, Com Plus for that entity. So these reports are available to you to subscribe to. There are the Icon Plus and Com Plus. You can subscribe to it for a whole year. So whenever at the end of every month, we will let you have what are your reports, or anytime there is any changes in your report, you will have access to it. And then I will also speak, although I've mentioned that before, for an entrepreneur, for a startup, sustainability is your focus. Your ability to recreate, to regenerate, to ensure that the business is sustainable, that's your focus. So where you take your finances, maybe you're into lending or you're into even support services, you are giving people. If I'm able to give people a credit, who are these people? So it is better for you to approach us in CRC, either through our social media app, so that we can also guide you and also provide a sort of guidance for you as in knowing who are these people that I'm dealing with. It's very, very essential, because we have saved a lot of people in doing that. So it's very, very important. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Really appreciate our panelists for giving us very detailed information. If you have learned anything, please give us some emojis in the chat box. Let's make sure that we are learning. I see that a bunch of questions, lots of questions have been asked because people are engaged and they're learning a lot. And our room is very full, right? I just want to ask one last thing. It will just be any last words from Etanife, or just to represent FSDH, anything that you would say to a startup, a fintech, anybody in the room, who wants access to funding, anything that you would like to say to them before we move on from this session. Etanife.
Okay, thank you. So at FSDH, we are open to collaboration and partnership. So if you're a startup and you don't know, maybe your business is not structured and you need advisory services, we are open in FSD to, to tailor you, to let you know, how your business can be better positioned even for, for huge facilities. So because when you position your business in a way that is well rated, your cash flows are looking good, you understand, you'll be able to access more funds. Yeah, so FSDH are open to collaboration and partnership. And we're located in Marina. So you can come in and we'll be able to discuss further. Thank you very much.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Thank you to all our panelists. Please, let's just give them a round of applause in the chat box. Just say hi, say thank you. Tell us, our most eloquent speaker and all that. All right. So we're moving on to the next bit in our program. We've answered all the questions that possibly could have come to us today. Some people that say, oh, I missed a lot. Don't worry. This session is recorded. You probably get the recording. As far as you registered, you get the recording. Okay. Thank you so much to our panelists. Thank you. Okay, so we're just going to have a little bit from our head of fintech businesses in FSDH Merchant Bank. His name is Patrick Igwe. He's just going to give us a little bit about fintech businesses and how access to funding is important for you at this time. So Patrick, go ahead. Thank you. Patrick, are you with us?
Okay, thank you. Thank you. Okay, so yeah, my name is Patrick. I'm just going to share my screen. Can the host allow me access share my screen, please? Yeah. Okay. I'm still unable to share my screen. But basically what I'm trying to pass across for everyone is we've spoken extensively on how startups and startup fintech businesses, startups in general, can access funds. But basically, I want to really share to you the funds that are currently, or the type of finance products that you can access right now, leveraging FSDH. So I'm sure some of you can see my screen, but if you would give me a second to present this in full screen mode. Okay, thank you. So I'm just going to be doing a very brief intro because this is not really about in some bits it's all about FSDH, but basically it's all about supporting startup businesses access small finance products. Um, just like what Ife had said, right? She was able to access equity finance. But if you notice right now in the ecosystem, in the startup ecosystem, you notice that equity finance is sort of drying up. Not a lot of founders are able to access equity finance. And we see that now that more founders are leveraging or trying to leverage debt finance, right? And other alternative sources of finance, right? Which is where we at FSDH come into the picture, right? Preferably we created the fintech business desk, which is basically FBS. But then what we try to do with that desk is we use that desk to support startups in general and SMEs in general also, right? The moderator, like Ori had earlier said, FSDH has been in the picture for quite a very long time, right? Over 31 years plus, right? Even though FSDH is not just a bank, it is a group where we have FSDH Capital. FSDH Capital is the arm of FSDH that really does any sort of big check equity, right? But then, I mean, you must be in a certain category of startup growth to be able to access that kind of finance, which is why we at FSDH um, business bank right, which is under bank as a whole, right, focuses on SMEs and medium to, small, medium growing stage sort of what we or who we are, right, and what we are trying to do for the startup ecosystem. So I'll just go right. So for because like I said, we focus on in general startups or provide capital to high growth tech companies or startups who have the potential to really grow and scale, right? And we are not just only focused on the fintech aspect of it. We're focused on the generality of the startup ecosystem, be it fintechs, mobility, agri-tech, supply chain, health tech. We are the sector. And if you are an SME business also, right, we are also able to support you. I'm sure the comms team will end up sharing the emails that you can reach out to us on. In terms of our products, right, what we do, we also provide debt finance. Debt finance basically for us is anything higher than a 10 million, right? So we also have short-term loans in terms of the minimum you are able to access without collateral, right? So I hear Itonife really speaking on credit ratings. I hear Ayodeji speak on ratings, how all those things. Yes, those things are very important, right? When you decide come access any of these products, right? Be it debt finance, be it invoice financing, be it you looking to acquire some equipment, lease and equipment financing, whatsoever the case may be, right? You would definitely at a point in time need to go through the CRC or would need to assess you, like Itonife had mentioned, right? Because before you can access them, we would need to check out your financial history. And now this is specifically for those who are financing their operations, basically. And for startups that are still up and coming, right, in terms of are still at their very early stage, right? Never we still have something for you, right? We do have APIs that reliable APIs that you can definitely plug into the bank, right, to be able to support your operations. In terms of products, these are very just for time purposes, right? We have a lot of products, but these are tailored startup products that we do believe that businesses like yours can access. In terms of going into details as to the access amount, because I know I've come across a lot of startups that ask me how much can we access, etc., etc. Now, in terms of the short-term product, right? Minimum or maximum without collateral that you can access is a 10 million. And even though there are some criteria, I'm sure you can see them on my screen, right? At least your business must be minimum be operational for at least a year, right? I do understand that startups 6 months to 5 years, right? But at least you must have in operations for at least a year and must be generating at least a annual minimum turnover of 240 million, right? And must be willing to, transact with FSDH, which is like one of the criteria for accessing 10 million, right? Now, if you want to go higher than 10 million, right? This is where we have a specific tailored product. With the Itonife spoke extensively on it. The USD cash cash sort of based product where you are able to secure a loan based off of the collateral, which is your cash, your USD cash that you have raised from your investors, right? Typically that used to be the best way, but Itonife has already spoken on it with the whole new CBN regulation. Now we are moving from just the USD to bonds, Euro bonds and letter of credits to be able to access. But then, you can always reach out to me or the team. You would be coming across the team very shortly, right? You can always reach out to us to get advisory on how you can access anything higher than 10 million. But yes, you must also be operational in Nigeria. You must either be a foreign entity looking to operate in Nigeria, or you are fully operational in Nigeria to be able to access any sort of finance support from FSDH Merchant Bank. So I would use this opportunity to also speak to the women in the room or on the session, right? Beyond us supporting tech businesses or SMEs in general, right? We also have specific products for women. But then I would just give you a very short. So we understand that women, it's a little bit harder for women to access funds or capital, right? Whatsoever it is, whether it be um, equity or debt, we understand the unique challenges women face, and which is why we create. It's very attractive if you ask me, right? If you ask me, falls on the call. I mean, women can access as a max amount of 100 million, right? And the interest rate is capped at 15%, right? Specifically for women who do not totally understand how to access this or access any other finance product or are looking for support, right? There is a support arm of it where you are trained financially and non-financially on how to grow your business, etc. Right? So that's the aspect of finance that we sort of provide to um women-owned businesses. In terms of the team, right? Like I said, we are very much accessible. And one of the things that I love and I pride myself working in FSDH is the fact that, unlike, and I'm not saying this to for the young ones here, shade any sort of bank, but then we are a close-knit bank where when your challenges or issues or whatsoever finance product that you are looking to access, right, you are able to directly interface with the different units. And I mean, it's always very seamless, right? That is our number beyond the financial propositions that we offer. That is our number one core value, right? We always put our startups, we always put our users first. And I mean, I could give a lot of testimonies, but then that's not why I'm here. You can always access us. That's what I'm trying to say. Um, at the head of it all is Mr. Dennis Izaga, who gave the welcome address. He is the head of business banking. Also, I have Gold Woke. She is the head of women in business. We could call her the women leader of FSDH. I also have Remy Shoyebi. I mean, she is the head of sales, and I mean, she is at the forefront of in case you are unable to meet those financial criteria, she's able to structure it in such a way that you are still able to access some sort of fund. And I mean, if you are a startup founder, it you have your business is tech enabled in any sort of way, or in general, you're just an SME, right, looking to access funds. I am also very much accessible. And at this point, I'll say thank you very much. If you are looking to reach out to me, our emails are clearly stated here. And if you do have questions, please do let me know. And I'm sure I should be able to answer them. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you so much, Patrick. Patrick has told you that we are very accessible. We've talked about debt, equity finance and debt finance, right? And he has just explained to us that equity finance might be a bit difficult to get, but debt finance, we're here for you. We're always here for you at FSDH, right? Meeting those financial solution needs. So definitely contact us if these are the things that you are interested in. Right, so we'll be moving on to the next presentation, and we'll be getting this presentation from our partners for today, our collaborators for today, Mr. Ayodeji Aluko, Regional Sales Manager at CRC Credit Bureau, who will also be telling us about the credit bureau, right? And telling us all the things that we possibly need to know to ensure that we get finance. So go ahead, Mr. Ayodeji. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you. So if you permit me to share my screen, just need to share a report. What are the report that we have that will guide our business? So what in credit bureau, okay, maybe some people are here, they're just getting to know what we do in credit bureau. So credit bureau is the institution that collects credit related information from lenders across, from lenders I've already mentioned. So for us in CRC, we've been here for 15 years now. It will be 15 years this coming month. So we've been here as much as that. We are regulated by Central Bank of Nigeria and by Act of the Parliament. So I just wanted to share with you how, just a minute, please. Let me share. Just a minute, please. Okay. So if you can see my screen. So this is a typical sample of what the credit bureau, the kind of information that we have. This is just a sample report of credit bureau, how the report looks like. So this is a credit report now, but this credit report is a premium one that is score is embedded into it. So, like I know I was mentioning KYC. So someone has told you that I'm born 1985, but on using my credit report, the information you have submitted to the others is showing you were born 1987 or you are born 1978. So for me as a lender that is sitting at the other side, I'm looking at your report. That's already a flashlight for me that I'm meeting someone that is not, that it speaks about your character. That means you already have what is called a double character. All your IDs, but the information you are provided to other lenders is showing every of the other thing. So your date of birth will be there, your BVN will be showing. So for example, now your address is going to be showing, your telephone numbers you have put in anywhere you have lent. So we see people, maybe you see people borrowing that 5,000, that 2,000 for 1 week, and you have abandoned the scene because you don't use it anymore. But there is already the track of you that has already been kept with the credit bureau. So with that, if tomorrow you are not established, we've seen people that their application is being dropped just because of that 5,000, 2,000 naira they borrowed like 2-3 years when they were in the high school, when they were in the university. So that has impacted on them. So those are part of the information. So you can see this guy, his credit score is showing 622 and it's called average. So why is the credit report showing this? It's giving us the reason showing there's a delinquency on account on credit report. So your delinquency is being monitored. Applicant is young, rated to other applicants scored. Time since delinquency on the credit report is too long related to other applicants scored. So maybe you're the one, every other person they are comparing, your own is like over 90 days. Other people are just lower than that. So this impact on your credit report. So your credit score, as you have seen on that. So it's also showing how many overdue. Like I tell people, credit bureau, credit report, your credit score, it doesn't wipe away your past. That's why you need to hold on to what you are doing starting from today. Yes, you can build your credit score, but your past is what we are looking at. We are not looking at your future. So it is very important. You can see on this report is showing us that this guy is loan in the last 12 months, 5 of his loan has been overdue for 10 days. That is very important. So those single days, don't think that the 1 day, 2 days, you might assume that I've paid them off. I'll pay them off. Yes, I was only there for three weeks or 3 months or 90 days or even 3 days. Yes, I'm supposed to pay them on 27th. I pay them on 31st. All those things counted to what it's part of what measured your scoring. So that's very, very important as an entrepreneur. If you're unable to meet a payment, contact your lender, seek an agreement with them. Don't just leave it open-ended until you have the money. They should understand. No, the credit report, credit bureau doesn't work like that. Your lender, they will supply that information that you have defaulted. So how many loans are you guaranteed? So you yourself, as the lender, as an entrepreneur that is just starting, are you guaranteed? Is it a best thing for you to start standing as a guarantor for others? Such information are also being kept at the bureau. Maybe in the course of your lending as well, you have already had a court case. I'm sure it's unfair. We don't want to near such person. Your lender and yourself, you're already in court. Such information are being granted. First credit reported date. This is to enable you to guide you. We collect that information. The benefit of that is to the lender. I want to know, is this person new to the credit circle, or is someone that has been here for a while? So if you have been someone that has been here for a while, there are some expectations at the back of our risk analyst that is looking at for you. But if you are somebody that just been here 2023, maybe your first loan, it was last year November or last year July or this year, oh, my expectation, and for someone who has been in the credit circle is 2016, 2016, 2013, 2014. So my expectation will be different. So you can see now, it will show how much you have collected, your account balance. This account balance now is not your credit balance, it's your loan balance, overdue. All those information are being kept. Your bank account is going to be mentioned. We're going to receive the information the day the loan was taken, the day the loan is ended. How much are you supposed to be paying monthly? What is your assets classification? Very, very important. Your lender determines it. Are you performing? Are you doubtful? Are you lost? Has the loan been lost? I'm sure no lender wants to deal with someone who has had an history of lost loan, who has a history of non-performing loan. And the top of it is that your history, how have you been paying? How have you been paying? Is very, very important. Don't miss your payment. As a startup, don't miss your payment whenever you have opportunity for someone to avail credit to you. We want to advise, such information gets to us. Do not miss a payment. A payment that is missed, impacted, even just a day, it impacts your scoring. Thank you. So also, those are the things, everything everything about you is being reported. How well are you paying? Who are your employer? Who are your exposure of your guarantors? How many loans has it been guaranteed to you? Yeah, someone has guaranteed for you in the past. How many you yourself has guaranteed? Even your security details. Okay, you have used your vehicle with FSDH. This is the security number. Is the vehicle, the date you have pledged it to them since so date. How much is it? What is the credit facility number with it? When was this reported? All these are being, if you have a credit card, everything is being captured. Your previous addresses, your employer, maybe you have been employed somewhere before. All this information, we also get it in the bureau. Your previous addresses, where have you stayed before? Very, very important. So I worked with United Nations before. I've lived in this area before. For me, it might just be only thing I want to know, because maybe during your interview session, I've asked you how long have you stayed in Lagos. You told me, oh, I've been in Lagos for the last 4 years. But your address, as at 4 years ago, is showing Akure in Ondo State. So that may just be information that I'm looking at. That might just be something that can disqualify you. So all this information, your history, your phone numbers, so you have an idea. I'm dealing with an entrepreneur in front of me. I'm assessing his credit. I'm seeing almost 10 numbers attached to only his name. It's a flashpoint for a lender. 10 numbers. So what has happened to, what kind of business do you do that enable you to have 10 numbers registered with you on your name? 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So how many do I still need to know that has not been captured? So those are the things. How do you manage all this? So you also look at, so those are the basic things that your report is going to contain. And I believe that as you grow your business, as a startup, the information about you, your identity, your character, how well do you manage your credit exposure? Very brilliant. The loans, the credit that have been offered to you in the past, how well do you do it? So all this is very important for your growth and signify how well you will stay in this market. Thank you so much for the opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that. That was packed with so much information. Make sure that you pay your credit on time. Make sure that you check everything. Make sure that the address is correct and the numbers there are not up to 1 million. Okay, thank you so much, Mr. Adedeji. We've learned so much. I see some people already making contacts, trying to, get as much information as they possibly can get. We are available, both the Credit Bureau and FSDH, to know how you can get debt financing and how you can also register with the Credit Bureau. We are available for you. So just go into the chat box and ask for contact information if you need it, and we'll definitely give it to you. Okay, Mr. Isaiah is going to give us a few remarks before we move on to the end or the parting words for today. Mr. Isaiah, go ahead, please. Is he here? Okay. Can you hear me?
I was having difficulties on muting myself.
Okay.
So I just want to say thank you to all the participants and FSDH for making this this knowledge sharing session possible. And to our listeners, CRC Credit Bureau is a very forward-thinking bureau, and we are constantly looking for partnerships and ways to make sure that this credit information that you need for your business is readily available. We are also thinking of products that can, make it a breeze for you to decisions that will help you help your business and help your customers. So we are a call away. I know after this session, our contacts will be shared. A call away. You can always reach out to us. We can also advise you. One thing about this CRC Credit Bureau is that we are not just here for business. We're also here to advise you as a startup, business already established, and how to make these, informed decisions. All right, so that we can eventually weed out all the bad eggs from the lending space, so that we can have people in the lending space of good character, all right, and people can access credits more easily. Thank you.
Thank you, Isaiah. Thank you so much to the Credit Bureau, our partners. Thank you so much for everyone who stayed to this time of the call. I remember when I started, I said, if you do know that this information is important to you, you want to stay to the very end, because there's always, information, or there's one little, there's always extra tea for the last person that's going to stay last to the last moment in the room. So right now, you can also check us on our social media and our online platforms. We have our website. Let's go back to our website. Can you go back? Okay, so we have FBS, that's our fintech business table, right? FBS at fsdhgroup.com. And we also have www.fsdhgroup.com. If you want to contact us, if you want to see what we do, what we offer, the type of debt financing, the products that we have, definitely want to go to our website. Also for the Credit Bureau, we have communications at crccreditbureau.com, and we have crccreditbureau.com to also contact them and to know more about what they provide. Can we move on to the next page, please? If you're on social media, you want to go to our pages on Facebook, on LinkedIn, on Twitter, and on Instagram. We have on Instagram, we have at FSDH Bank. We also have at FSDH AML. If you are interested in anything FSDH, you can just search FSDH and you will find us. Follow all our accounts. Don't discriminate. Just follow all our accounts to get all the information that you need, right? For Facebook, FSDH Merchant Bank. For LinkedIn, FSDH Merchant Bank, FSDH Asset Management, all the FSDHs. Just follow us, right? And for Twitter as well, at FSDH Bank. Please follow us on all our social media. We definitely want to do that, because when we have all these opportunities, that's where we share it. That's where you're going to be able to see it as a business owner, and you can partner with us from there. Right now, it's the best time. It's the time I like the most, right? It is photo time, right? I know some people are listening to this from some corner of their office, some corner of their room, and all that good stuff. So you can put on your makeup, you can wear your glasses, you can put your lipstick on, so that this is your moment to shine, right? As a business owner, you don't need your helper is on the line, right? So we're going to take a virtual photo. So we'll not mind if you can you don't have to unmute yourself, but you can show your video. as much as you can show your video so that we can take a virtual photo. So we can take a virtual photo, time for the virtual photo, put your best foot forward, look your cutest, look your finest. Yes, let me put my right angle, right? Okay. So yeah, I'm waiting for some people. Yes, give us your video. Let's see. Let's have some. Let's know that we're here. We're here. What's the evidence that you were here if there's no picture, right? So I'm guessing some people do not know that their videos are not yet shown. So yes, I see Obonaka. I'll be calling names at this point. Okay, so let's see your video. Let's see your video. Let's see your video. Let's see your video so that we can take a good picture. You're in the room with us. Please show your video if you can. Or give us like 2 minutes. Okay, okay, I see some more people. Oh, awesome, awesome, awesome. Nee, are you with me? Nee, are you with me? I want to know if you're able to take the screenshots of our virtual photos. You can give us a countdown. Are you with me, Nee?
Hi, Ore. So yes, we're taking the
Okay, hi.
pictures. Please give us your best smile, guys.
So you haven't told us, so give us the countdown, please. We must be fine. Exactly.
Give us your best smile. I like that Ubuna Kandi.
Okay.
Thank you very much. I like that.
Right. Italian is winning right now. She has the
I like
brightest
that
smile.
Fularo Pizza. I like that Timothy. I like that KK. Yes. So we're gonna take that picture in 3, 2, 1. Yes. And then we're just gonna take another one
Let's
in
take another one, please. I don't think I put my right angle.
1. Perfect. Got that. Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you very much. Over to you, Ore.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much for coming. We really appreciate you. We hope that you took something down. We hope that you were able to learn something. If you're not able to learn something, or maybe you came late and you didn't hear some of the things that were said, this video, this has been recorded. So it's going to be uploaded on YouTube. So you're going to see it on our YouTube page at FSDH Group. So you can also watch this after then, right? But thank you so much for all our collaborators, all the people that came and were present with us to the very end. We appreciate you. We can just at this point say thank you for attending and have a great day. Bye.
Bye. Bye. Thank you very much, Ore.
Bye.
Bye, 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 everyone.
Bye. Bye.
Mm. Thank you, team.